So, hey guys, as I promised, we will start working with pagination, so let me show you the changes. This one is using Edge, okay, so don't worry too much about this. It's just to show you what we have. So if we click a lot more, it's going to load the next set of 3, because I'm just allowing 3, I'm limiting 3. And since we have 7, the only one that is pending is going to be loaded after we click that. So you can see I'm counting those, and it looks pretty simple, right? So but it's not in the code, it's not that simple, but there are two ways to handle this. Okay, one way to handle pagination, so let me just go. So this is the application we have. Okay, so let me go to JS pagination. We have this pagination, and there are two ways of handling pagination. One with another, well, an external module. This one is a jQuery, but what I mean is that with this one, with this kind of method, you are going to download everything. Okay, so if you have I don't know, 195, 200, 10,000, okay, you will download everything and then build the navigation using that data source. Okay, so you will set that into an array and use that. So that is one way of doing, and the other way is like this, that actually is the server or the database that is going to cut the, well, it's not this one, that is going to cut the information, and is only going to send us some chunks. Okay, that it's going to be easier for this to load. But every time we click this, we're going to make another request, okay, asking for the next tree and asking for the next tree. Okay, in this case it only finds that it has only one and is only going to deliver one. Okay, so those are two ways: one with the server that we're going to use, or the database, and the other one downloading everything and adding something like this Pagination JS that uses jQuery in order to get this behavior. Okay, so let's build this. So all this should work, and just let me fit the other thing on my screen so it looks fine. Okay, so we're going to go to the code and make some changes. This could take a while. Well, you can see that I have this because I added the functionality to the actual code that we were building. So I'm using the other code that I had. I just connected that to the database we were using, and just like that, copied all the functionality, and everything should be working. So the first thing is that we're going to remove a few things. So first of all, we are not going to, let me dispose the other one. I'm not going to we're not going to make any call right now, and I will show you some things we need. We need to create a new variable that is last visible. So we already have our post array that we were using. We need to create a new size variable and a new post size variable in order to check where we at, okay, when we receive the posts. Okay, so let's start building this, and let's say let docs, just like that. Let's just set this one, and let posts ref. So this is not going to be too newbie friendly, because this is how Firebase allows the pagination, but I will try to explain it. So we need to call Firebase and firestore. Remember that this one is a method, and we need to grab the collection we want, that is the posts, and we need to say, when in this case I said order by, so we are going to order by title, what we are receiving, and here not limit but limit, we tell Firebase that we want to have just a set of those documents. Okay, so you can set 20, 50, 1,000. Okay, but in this case we're going to set 3 because we have only 7, and we can add more, and you can, if in case you have more, because this one I'm going to deliver this the 14, so I have time to record anything else. So at this point you might have posts added, I don't know, 20, 30 posts, so you can set, if you have that, you can say 10. So let's say 3, and we need to build a new variable or create a new variable that is going to be size underscore size, and we're using async, so let's use a wait to wait for all the posts to be grabbed. Well, to make the request, that is going to be this one. So we're going to say, oh no, but first we need to keep an eye of the size of all the documents. So the collection we have, well, we don't have that, is 7. So the size of the collection is 7. Okay, so we need to keep an eye of the size that that we have, okay, of the full set that we have in the database. So we need to actually add another request, okay, that this is needed. So we need to make these posts and get, we're going to get all the posts, okay, just for this, in order to get the size. So we're going to say size that underscore size that size. So this is going to return everything, and this one is only going to contain the number, in this case 7, okay, that is the full size of our collection. So let me add a comment, get collection size. Now we need to make this request, so let's say await also posts ref that get that then. So we are going to make this, okay, because we're going to wait for this promise to be resolved, and inside this we need document snapshots, okay, like that, and we add a function inside that, inside this then, okay. So what we need to do here is to assign these docs that we have on line 62 to our document snapshots, that are the documents we have, but this is going to return in a different way than what we are using here, okay. So if I say console.log docs, we will see what is returning, and from this we need to add our last visible. So every time we perform a new request, we need to grab the last item inside the request, okay, and to set it as a new index, in order for us that when we make another call, we receive the next set, okay, not the same set. So we're going to say document snapshots that docs, so this one has some documents, okay, and document snapshots again, that docs, that length less 1. So this is going to set the index of that last item, and we can say console.log here, that is last, and we can say last visible. So that is the last item we are going to retrieve, and we need to handle that. We need to get a a variable with that, so we can see it. Now we have these dogs that is defined on line 62 and changed on line 69. So these dogs are going to contain our documents. So for each of those documents, we are going to receive or perform an action on each document. That's why the doc is inside that. So we have our post array that handles all the arrays, all the posts we have, and this is going to be used in order to create a new posts. So we need to push the first set, that this is the first set of 3. Okay, so this one are going to be only 3. This is the first set, and we need to push that using what we have. So it's the ID. So let me copy this. This is actually the same, so we're going to copy this. That's why I just commented that out. We're going to paste it, and this is going to create the first 3, because we're limiting the first call to make only to receive only 3, or to look for only 3. And now we need to say something here. If post array that length is above 0, okay, we're going to allow our pagination, that I don't think we have that yet, but we will add it. So let's say pagination that style that display equals to block. So this is going to be our lot more button that we will add in a second. And else, forgot to say else, pagination that style that display, and we're going to say none. So if we have post, we're going to display the lot more. If not, we're going to display a none. That's going to be our first check. So we need to go to the index, and I'm going to copy this only. There is no need to. So inside the main, below the ID post, we're going to add some spacing and paste, or add this div with ID pagination and with class pagination, so we can style it. Kinda, it's just a div, and we're going to say a lot more. So let's save this, and okay, there's something, because Firebase is a function in line 65. Okay, let me check that. Sorry, it's not Firebase, it's firestore. Okay, so no errors. And you can see we have this lot more, because there's something in the post array, but we are not showing that. And this is what we are getting. This is the first set, and this is the last visible item. Okay, so you can see that it comes in a different way. So the easier thing is just to make another call and just to get the size, and from this we're going to retrieve each document that is inside. Okay, and the last thing that we need to do here is to say, so let me scroll down a little bit, await. We're going to use await in order to wait for this create children. Is that so? I think it is, yes. And we need to pass the post array. So we're going to check the post size, and we're going to set it equal as posts that child nodes that length. So this is, as I said, it's not going to be a newbie friendly, because this is kind of intermediate JavaScript that you are going to use. And console.log. So we are going to console. Sorry, I can't fucking speak. It's Monday, so post size. So let's save this, and this should create the first set. Yes, because we already have the creation. Okay, so create children is going to take an array, and from that it's going to create a new div each time, so we can click here and everything should work perfectly. Okay, we have this pagination is not defined, so I forgot to do that. And why is this? Okay, because as I said, this one is not using the I think I copied and pasted that. There's a helicopter. I hope it doesn't sound that. So let me go to home. Okay, this one is working. A new post. Okay, I just forgot to add that. So let me just come back here and copy this toggler and add it inside your post. So where is that? Okay, here. Paste it and this should work fine. You post. Yep. And if I go to home and select one of these, okay, you can see it's working now. Okay, so let's go back to home, and you can see all the code is working because we have that in place. So now if we say load more, it's not going to happen because we don't have the event listener for that. So we're going to grab first of all our pagination. So let me get that. You should remember how to get using the query selector. So I'm going to only paste that. Constant pagination. Okay, is equal a document query selector r and or pagination that is. So let me just close these two. That is this div with ID pagination. So let's save that. And we need to check below this one. Let's add it below this one. If the pagination is set. So if pagination is not equals to null, then pagination that add event listener, why it didn't grab that shit, click and we're going to perform here a function called paginate, and the function, let's add it right here. So it's going to be constant paginate equals to, just give me a second, let me find that. It's an async function, async, and let's add that again. So let's say console.log paginating, I don't know, something like that. Let's save that and let's go back to our code. So you can see that main.js 89 is responding with a 3. So we are consoling the post size that is the actual child nodes inside our posts. You might be thinking, what the hell is that? So let me just come back here and click this one. A lot of fucking crap that is here that we actually don't need all that shit. So what I'm looking for is for these posts, okay, you can see that this is the post, the actual post variable that we have, or post constant, that is referring to the post ID. So we're going to check for the children, okay, inside that, so we know it's only our class posts, okay, so are actually each individual post. So we need to check for that, and that's what we are counting. We are counting how many children you have inside, and that is the tree that is consoling here. Okay, we need to keep an eye on that number. So after that, we are going to continue with the paginate. So did I click this? Okay, so you can see now it has an event binding. So let's remove this and let's actually go with let docs. This is another variable. Remember that the variables inside the functions are only inside this. This doesn't work outside. So that's why we can use the same namings as the other ones, okay, that are inside. But we cannot use the same namings that we have here outside of a function, okay. So let docs and let, so this is going to be actually the same because we need to make another request. So it's going to be posts ref. That's why I also added the same namings. Firebase that firestore that collection posts. I just hope this sounds fine with a fucking helicopter. Man, sometimes. Okay, so we need to order by title in this case, and the thing is that let's add it here and start after. So with this, we're going to tell where we want to start fetching the posts. So we already received the first 3 posts, so we have the last visible, okay, that is that third post we have. So we start counting after that. So let's count after that last post that you gave me. So you saw that it returns a ton of crap, so we actually need to grab that as the last visible. And we're going to also limit because we want the next 3. Okay, we want to continue just fetching 3. It would be funny if you add first, I don't know, 20 and then you perform on each loading 1, limit 1. Okay, but that is going to be stupid, you know. So let's continue with only 3 and 3 and 3 and fetching just those 3 next. So await post ref. So we need to make this post ref again. Posts. Where the okay, here. That get. So the get, remember that actually goes and perform the action that is looking for inside the collection and fetching the documents. And we need to say then again document snapshots and a function inside that. So docs is going to be equal to document snapshots again, and last visible again is going to be equals to document snapshots from what we are receiving. That's the change, okay, because we're receiving a new set, so that's what we need to do. So this one is just a square brackets, document snapshots that docs that length less 1. So we grab the next, okay, index of the last set. So the last one, the tier 1, is what we are going to grab here. So we can start fetching again after that. So we have that, we can console that, but we already know all the crap we're getting there. So we need to perform the same thing. So let's docs. This docs is the documents we have inside these document snapshots, the actual documents. And for each, we're going to do something. The doc, and I didn't use the index, okay, so it's just the doc. So in case you don't know, you can pass an index that is a counter, okay, so each time it's going to perform a count. So this one is going to be I think it's 1 2 3 and all that, okay. So in this case we have 3, we're going to return 3, so each time it's going to say, for the first one it's going to say 1, for the second one 2, and for the third one 3, okay. So that is how you can count what is coming inside. So document, okay, I'm going to copy all this because this is what we have, because what we want, okay, we want to create another element each time we fetch, but we want to do that for every document that we have, that in this case are 3. So we need to perform the create again, okay, but I'm just going to copy this. That is the same code that is inside this, okay, you can refactor it if you want. So we're going to create this for each one, and create children, I think create children accepts an array, maps through that array, and that. So you can actually, yeah, it's the same. So you can actually just call create children inside here instead of that for each, because we already have an array. But let's keep it like this so you can see. And we need to do something else. We have a variable here called page size, right, post size, sorry, we have this post size on line 38. So we need to do something each time we add to this, okay. So when we click load more, we need to perform an action that is going to count again how many you have inside this post div. So you remember that I said you have an index, you can add a comma I, that is the index, is a counter, but that is not going to work in this case. That's why we set a post size here, and remember that this one first of all is going to be 3, or is going to be equal to the quantity you allow in this limit 3. So after that, let me remove that. So after that, for each one that is being appended, because this function, what it's going to do is going to create a new div, a new set like this, okay, a new one each time. So it's going to create 3 more when all the process is done. And we need to do one thing, that is going to be page size, or is that page size, post size. We need to say a plus plus, because we want to add a number to our global page size, that after the first call, this one is 3, okay, and then each time it's going to change, okay, each time we create a new div, is going to change that size. So it's going to change because we are setting this here. We're going to tell it. So let me say console.log post size. Okay, just like that. And each time it's going to add one more to our counter that matches the element that we are creating. So let's save that and let's continue. We're going to say if post size, because at this point we already have this post size, so this post size is equal or above the size. Remember that the size, let me add that, okay, remember that the size is the full size of our documents, the total documents inside our collection. So this one at this point is 7, and every time we make a new element, we're going to increase by 1 the size of the children inside the post div, okay, that is this one. So next we're going to have 6, okay, but the top number here is 7, because that is the limit or the full width of the collection. And of course it's going to change when you add more, Okay, so that is going to work. And let me find myself. Where the hell am I? Okay. So we don't want the load more button to appear. Okay. This thing when there are not enough or not any document that we can load after that. Okay. So what we're going to do is a pagination that style that display equals none. So we are just going to hide that, and that should be it. So let's save this and let's see what happens. So if I click load more, sorry, it's going to load the next tree. And if I say load more, it's going to load the last one. So let's actually go and say new post something and another thing, and let me just go back, say, let me grab an image. I don't know what the fuck is going on with my throat that I cannot speak. Let me grab this one, submit, and we're going to come back here and submit one more. So this one is going to take a bit because it's a big image. Okay, this one is because the pagination is not here, so that's the only thing that is going on. Okay, we can actually click that and say, okay, so you can see that is the pagination because we don't have that element inside this, so you know how to deal with that. I'm not going to bother. Let's wait for this, and let's go back to the console. We are already done, as you can see here, 100, getting this and being redirected. And we have this open, so let's see load more. You can see that it says 4, 5, 6, and that is coming from the main.js line 119. That is this one. Okay, we're consoling the new post size, so we can keep track of that and check against this number, because 6 is still less than 7, less or equal than 7. So we show a lot more because we know we have 2 more. Well, in this case is 8. So the top number here is 8, and if we click load more, it's going to, you can see, it's not going to match 7 because we know the size of the collection got updated by 1. Okay, got up by 1. So we are going to check for 8 now, and this is going to work. So if I go, let's say new post, and just add some other posts, let me choose another file, one that is not that big. So you can upload your another post in order to try that. Submit. I don't think this one is that big, right? Well, maybe F12 to see that. Again F12 because it closes that for some reason when I resize the window. So every time I move my Chrome between the two screens, it's going to resize, and because the other one is bigger, okay, than my primary, when I go back here, it's going to close the development tools. So this should be it. Load more. We load the next tree. Okay, you can see that this one is taking the space there because of the order by, and load more, and you can see we have 3 more. And just to see a last one, let's say last one. whatever, just to show you that it's going to work with the offset as it was working before. So just one more fucking image. I have this one. Okay, and submit. I think this one is pretty big. Well, not quite. So we go back here and you can see we have 3. Let's load the next 3. Let's load the next 3. And we have one more because at this point we have 10. And let's add the next one. Okay, so that is working, and this is one way of dealing with loading with pagination. So it wasn't that bad, but the code, yeah, is not that friendly as it was. Okay, like the other code was, but it's because we have to perform several things in order to get the correct index of this last visible. We need to get the size, and from there we create elements, and every time we paginate we need to make another request, okay, starting after the last item we got. Okay, so that's it, and see you in the next one.